Performing a funeral is a great honor. Some people are surprised by that, but it's a great thing to honor someone's life and to be helpful at a time of grief for a family. Last weekend, I had the honor of performing a funeral, and this one came kind of close to home. The service was not for a member of St. Mark's. It was for a young man named Sammy who has autism, like my daughter has. Sammy was about the same age as my daughter, and Sammy lived in a group home run by the same agency that runs my daughter's group home. Now, all this made performing this funeral very special, but also extra difficult. During the service, I allowed time for anyone who wished to share a story or a memory about Sammy. A couple of family members did so, as you would expect. Staff caregivers who worked with this young man spoke lovingly of him as well. But what really struck me is that 3 people with disabilities spoke about him. A couple of them have autism, like Sammy did, and like my girl does. What struck me was the love in their voices as they spoke of him. One of them talked about how Sammy taught him that having autism is not shameful. It's okay to be different. And then he told Sammy's parents that Sammy loved them even though he could not say it. Sammy was pretty much nonverbal. But this housemate saw Sammy's behavior and mood change when a visit from mom or dad was coming. And this young man wanted Sammy's parents to know that he got really excited about their visits. Sammy loved his folks, although he could not say the words. You know, some people think that intelligence is what makes us human. I disagree. All my years of knowing people with profound disabilities has taught me something else. Love. Love is what makes us human. What is it with kids like Sammy and kids like my Marie? They can give us such challenges and problems, but their hearts are so pure. They evoke such love in the people around them, their families, their friends, and their caregivers. They make our hearts bigger. They may not express love in conventional ways, but when you know them, you can see the love. Intelligence is not what makes us human. Love is what makes us human. Today we heard what are maybe the most famous words ever written by the Apostle Paul, who wrote a lot of pretty famous words. 1 Corinthians chapter 13 is called the love chapter. It's often read at weddings. I bet you've heard it at weddings, because it's about love being patient and kind and love being the most important quality of all. But it's not really about marriage. These words certainly apply at weddings, but that's not really what they are about. Paul is writing to a messed up, divided, dysfunctional church family. Among their many problems, some of them are hooked on flashy, miraculous spiritual gifts. They think that because they have a gift for prophecy or healing or speaking in tongues, then they are pretty great. They view themselves as spiritual superstars. Paul says they've got it all wrong. Sure, those manifestations of spiritual power are pretty good, but they're not the best thing. Paul says love is the highest gift and the most important quality of all. And he's not talking about the kind of love we always hear about in top 40 music. pop songs and movies really are about lust, or at least physical attraction in the romance department. Now, in the Greek language that Paul wrote in to the Greek Corinthians, the word eros covers this pop music and romantic movie kind of love. We get our word erotic from this Greek word. But in this text, Paul uses the Greek word agape. Agape love is not just for your boyfriend or girlfriend or spouse. Agape love is the compassionate care we hope to offer to everyone. Agape love is not arrogant or boastful or envious or rude. It does not insist on its own way. Love like this is crucial to a good marriage, sure, but it's crucial to all good relationships. And it's crucial to the practice of Christianity. Sammy had autism, and he had Parkinson's disease. My Marie has autism, and she has severe cognitive deficits. Neither of them could understand much theology, and neither of them would be much interested in theology. Neither of them would know much Bible. But both of them have demonstrated loving hearts. Both of them, for all their problems, have shown compassion. Both of them know how to love. It's not intelligence that makes us human. It's love. Don't you wish public Christians would avoid spreading messages of anger and judgment? Don't you wish famous Christians would stop condemning people they don't like or disagree with? Don't you wish Christians in the public eye would stop being such bad advertisements for the love of Christ? I do. Come Judgment Day, if there's going to be a quiz on Bible doctrine, my daughter's not going to make it. And if my daughter is not going to make it, then I don't want to make it either. The only quiz on Judgment Day is going to be about love. That's what Jesus says in his parable of the sheep and the goats in Matthew chapter 25. He says, "You gave me something to eat, you gave me something to drink, you visited me when I needed it." And those facing this judgment are going to ask, "When did we do that?" And Jesus will say, "Whatever you do for the least of these, you do for me." It's not our intelligence that makes us human. It's not our doctrine or our belief that gets God to accept us. It's all about love. Compassionate, generous, giving love. And that kind of love, it's not a feeling. It's action. It's caring. It's taking care of one another. Now, it's not me saying this on my own. I learned this from people with disabilities. I learned this from Jesus. And I learned this from Paul. And now, faith, hope, and love abide, these three. And the greatest of these is love. Amen.